One of the funniest things I think we've seen so far, I don't know if we can pull up this this clip that Benny Johnson posted. They're giving Kamala Harris a smaller podium because she's 5'4". And what is Donald Trump? He's like 6'1", I think.
6'3", I thought.
Yeah.
6'3"? He's bigger than that. So you can tell right away that there are concerns about how Kamala Harris is going to appear on stage. But I'm curious what our friends from Congress think about how this is going to turn out.
Well, first of all, I had a double platform in my last debate. They tried to give me one stool. I said, oh, no, I will have two because I'm 5 foot even. And I was towering them in. It was pretty great. But, you know, I think right now we need to have as fair of a debate as possible, you know, and they're going to try to elevate Kamala in many other ways. So, I mean, whether she has the podium or not, whatever it is, they're still going to try to elevate her in every other way to win.
But
this.
you think that the height thing really does matter in the perception of the voters?
I think it actually does matter. But maybe some of these unaffiliated voters will see her as a woman and, you know, say they'll feel sympathy that she's so much smaller and kind of have that compassion towards her for it. You know, I think it's really frustrating when you get dressed up and then it's all covered up by a podium.
What do you
When you
think,
pick your best outfit.
Right. You can see my collar. Great.
I think it shows what's important to them is appearance and not production. I think that she is she will be a disaster as president of the United States. She does not have the knowledge. She does not have the people skills. And she has the track record of a complete failure unless you're a Marxist.
And there's the better answer.
And I think that's why they will. That bunch is looking at appearances because they know that they don't have anything to produce. They don't have a product.
And I think the mainstream media will use her appearance as a way to defend her, right?
Right.
I mean,
That's what I was saying. Right.
Right. I mean, I'm kind of expecting her to come out in a bright color to portray that sort of.
I would love to see her in something other than brown.
gray. Come on,
goodness.
It really, I mean, I'm not even trying to be mean. It just doesn't bring energy.
No.
It's sort of a lifeless campaign already, but they're going to use her inherent female traits, you know, that she's smaller in stature, that Donald Trump is taller, to defend her. If she makes any mistake at all, it's because he's a big bad man and she's
right,
just
exactly.
a nice girl
And
boss.
may have the appearance that he's bullying her because she's smaller. But really, I mean, she's running for the most powerful position in the world. And she wasn't even elected to be there. She wasn't voted in by anyone. She was selected by the establishment behind the curtains. And so, I mean, to be running there, she needs to be able to run on issues. I see she has an issues tab finally on her campaign page. She actually has issues. I guess we're going to hear some of those. You know, she says that her values have never changed. Well, let's take her at her word because she has been radically opposed to everything that she's put out so far on this campaign trail, anything that she's mentioned when it comes to energy or fracking or even supposedly building the wall at the southern border, something that she has said is racist, something that she said was just it was just for appearance. And now she's got issues. So we know she has issues, but she's got those posted up on her campaign page finally.
Yeah. Let's see if she remembers them tonight.
Right.
Did you see the CNN story of all outlets that in 2019, Kamala Harris, she was in favor of giving sex change surgery to illegal immigrants. It was so shocking that Aaron Burnett went, wait. Gender transition surgery for detained migrants? Like, yeah, she was in favor of that. Seems like something that wouldn't be a high priority item for somebody running for president. It feels like Kamala just pulled a bunch of leftist things out of a basket and jammed them together and said, I'm for whatever this is. Please vote for me.
Right. Well, just like Burchett said, he is afraid that we are losing our country. And Kamala has been to the left of even Bernie Sanders on many of these issues. She's left of the squad on many of these issues. And she has ran in presidential campaigns where she has been the most progressive, most extreme candidate on the stage. And now she's trying to moderate. Even Bernie Sanders is like, yeah, sure, of course she's going to say what she's got to say to win the election. And that's what the people back home need to really take in. She has to say whatever she has to say. It's not anything that she actually believes in that's being presented right now.
I do find it fascinating because I guess traditionally a politician is going to find their key issues and they're going to have their passion issues that they're focused on that help propel them forward. Maybe it's something that's generally popular. And then there's going to be issues that are ancillary that they're not super familiar with, and they're going to go to their consultants and say, I'm not super, I don't understand a whole lot about, issue number, like issue letter A, like what is going to be more, what do the people care about more? So you're going to try and round out your campaign, focusing on what you think is important to you, followed by what you think is important to constituents. It seems like Kamala doesn't have anything that's important to her at all. It's literally just go on Google Trends and put those in my campaign proposals, and then maybe people will vote for me. It clearly didn't work in 2020. I don't know why it's going to work now when she has these campaign policies now listed on her website. But it's relatively generic. There's some stuff in there that I think is fine, like the child tax credit I like. But I don't believe that she's actually for any of this, because you've got clips of her saying basically everything.
Right. Go ahead, Bridget.
I think all she's doing is looking for something to get a majority. I firmly believe with debates, except for the last one in our lifetime, there really hasn't been any debates that have mattered too much. The Kennedy-Nixon debates before I was born, Nixon looked tired. He had a shadow. He needed to shave, and they used that to hammer him with a young Kennedy. But I think my theory with debates holds. You bring your side, I bring my side, and we both leave thinking we won. And that's what it'll be tonight. I think you'll see the CNNs, the legacy media, if you will, they'll say how much Harris won. You'll see the conservative media outlets say that Trump won. And what I hope happens tonight is I hope President Trump just lets her speak, because when she speaks, she is her own worst enemy. And if he can keep from attacking her personally and just specifically on programs, because you'll see that with Democrats and liberals in general. They'll vote for the program. They're not voting for the person. They don't know anything about her. They don't care anything about her life. They don't care anything. They just want that gravy train to never end. And with conservatives, they're voting for a person. They see something in that person, a Ronald Reagan, Donald Trump. They see something in there that they like and that they can identify with. And so it is a completely different objective that you'll see tonight.
And
there was some great commentary on Fox News. They said that Donald Trump should refrain from calling her Commie Kamala, and he should refer to as Madam Vice President at every opportunity. I completely agree.
Yes. Well, and really, if he keeps from personally attacking her, then that's great. I mean, if you go in there saying that she doesn't know the issues, that she's not intelligent, that she's an idiot, or whatever attack there is, well, anything that she does that is above those attacks is exceeding expectations. So we are lowering the bar so much for her with the attacks that anything that she does that seems halfway intelligent is a huge win. So I agree that there shouldn't be the attacks, and he should just let her talk. Maybe she'll just talk about the color of coffee cup lids or something.
I mean, I hope he takes any kind of lead conversation from the moderators and just says, you have this in your platform. Can you explain it to me? What do you mean by this? I want him to drive that home, because I really don't think she knows what's even on her website. It took her long enough to put it up.
And I hope he points out that on their website is just a rehash of Biden's failed policies. And that is what she's touting. And I think he can differentiate himself from her by saying, your energy policy, that's why gasoline is at this. That's why it was much lower when I was president. The price of groceries, $600 a month, and it's actually more than that working families are struggling to get by. So I think that's a huge, huge issue with working America, and I think it resonates well. And when I talked to him, that's what I stressed. I said, Mr. President, you do a great job of telling us what's wrong with this world and country and how we got here, but you do a much better job of telling us how to fix it. And I want you to focus on how to fix it, because dadgummit, people are hurting in this country, and they need somebody that can say. My mama used to say about Ronald Reagan, she said, honey, when he would get on the radio or on the television, it was just like an old friend talking to him. I hope President Trump looks into that TV and does like he did to Isabel Burchett, my little girl, when her sock was caught in her boot and she was hopping around, and he leaned down and said, Isabel, what's wrong, honey? And she said, my sock's caught in my boot, Mr. Trump. And he said, well, get it out of there, honey. and I said to my wife, I said, that is very unusual. And if America can see that Donald Trump tonight, I think he will walk the country with her. But if he lowers himself to these attacks, and we all get it, because he's been treated incredibly unfair. He's been marched in before every court. They're trying to bankrupt him. They're trying to knock him off the ballot everywhere. and yet he doesn't get any support, it seems. And he's the only one that stands up. And when he says, that they're not after you, they're after, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in their way.
Yes.
Right.
I think that resonates with America because we are losing our country right now, and 13 to 15% of this dadgum country will get out and vote, and that's about it.
I agree with you. I think it really does resonate with the public when he says he is the one in the way. And I also know that polls show undecided voters, which is really, they may not tune in, but that's sort of who everyone is courting right now. The number one issue among them is the economy. I mean, that's true for so many people, but definitely for the undecided voters.
And
we don't need the personal tax, we just need answers.
Everything is the economy.
Yeah.
The border.
Yes.
International. These terrorists that we gave billions of dollars to, and currently we're still paying the Taliban every dadgum week millions of dollars, and the Democrats refuse to address that. And if you saw on the screen earlier, they showed the Democrats who were there, who were supposed to, pitching for the president, and these are far left people, far left. So that tells you one thing: they ought to already have that bunch. They should be having their moderate Democrats, if there is such a thing. But they are worried about their far left base, and they are going to throw out the far left red meat tonight, and you will see full-on Marxism like you've never seen it.
Have both of you seen the Alan Lichtman predictions?
No, I don't look at anybody's predictions.
I agree. I think, look, you've got Nate Silver saying Trump's 2-1 to win. He's nearly 65% chance to win based on the polling. But Alan Lichtman is this professor that everybody loves to cite because he predicted the last 9 of 10 elections, and he correctly predicted Trump would win in 2016. He's now predicting Kamala Harris will win. And I kind of feel like his assessment, based on what they call the keys to the White House, it's based off of watching too much MSNBC. He says there's been no major scandals. He says that whether there's been a foreign military failure or victory is kind of an unknown. An absurd. I mean, the Abby Gates scandal is massive, and it's multiple scandals in one. Not to mention the scandal of removing the primary winner on the Democratic ticket. He says the economy short-term.
They rig their own elections all the time.
Oh, it's ridiculous. He says the short-term and long-term economies are good, and he says that Donald Trump is not charismatic. So I understand there's a lot of people who don't like Trump, but the man is a reality TV star. I mean, come on.
I've been in a room with 2 people in my life that when they walk in the room, dadgum, you know who they are. One of them was Benjamin Netanyahu. I was in Israel. I thought, holy cow, that's freaking Benjamin Netanyahu. And the other one's Donald J. Trump. There's no question. When that guy walks in the room, it's who he is and what he does and what he's done. So, I beg to differ with the liberal pollsters. There was a guy that used to work for me, and I know he's not watching now, so I can say this, but he used to work for me, and he would make these predictions. He would say, this is going to happen, and everybody'd say, oh. And, he would never hit it. And then one time he would hit it, and that's all they'd focus on. I bet that guy had never picked a dadgum dog catcher's race, and he's lucked up on a few presidential races. And that's what the national media, that's how they focus on these cats, and they call them experts. And they wouldn't hit a lick in a dadgum pie factory, after hours. They're not worthy of national news, but that is what the national news focuses on, brother. And it just shows you just how sick this country is and where we're headed.
I think the national news has a work perspective on all of this. I was listening to a report from 538's podcast, and they were talking about how in 2016, after every debate, Hillary Clinton gained in the polls. She performed better and better. But if you remember 2016, we got some of the best Trump lines during the debates of all time. I think there is a bias towards Trump as the outsider and also a personality we don't like. And therefore, no matter what, no one is interested in him. And that just ultimately proved to be false. I mean, they'll point back to the Comey emails and stuff like that and say, well, that's why she lost. But I just don't think that's the case.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.